Hi folks, here's some more garden updates for you. Lots of things going on the sun side of the garden, as you can see. Slowly but surely I'm replacing my trellis from net to that fencing. Really the best thing I ever could have done. All these that are net that are going to get fencing, and the ones back there are going to get it too. The garlic, folks, doing really well. Got some marigolds here, but the garlic's doing really well. That's probably going to be done in a couple months, and this probably early summer it should start to die back, and we'll see how big of a bulb we get. I'm hoping that it does good. It's definitely better than next year already. Never had them this big. I had them in a container, but never this big. Back here is lots of activity going on. So these are Determinate Tomatoes that are really bushing out. I've kind of tied them up here a little bit just to give them some support. They're getting a little too big and heavy. And I also pruned the bottom leaves to get some airflow. The biggest thing that I got to worry about is caterpillars. They may come in here and start to munch away. So we're on caterpillar lookout. I'll probably give them a little spray of the biological agent that kills them, but not kills us. The peppers are doing good. They're definitely due for fertilizer. I'm going to have to get the irrigation going with the fertilizer, put that in there so that way it waters and fertilizes. The Goji Berries are doing really well. Boy, these things, I kind of started to tie them up a little bit just to give them a little support. They were starting to, they're starting to get tall and lean over, so I just wanted to give them just a little bit of support here. Once they get stronger, I could probably stake them up a little bit better. But I took a cutting. I was cutting some of the side shoots on them. And you know what? I cut like a stem like that, put it in water, and the dang thing starts to sprout. So I'm going to have some more Goji Berry transplants that I can put in. Did the same thing with the fig tree, and that's starting to sprout in my glass of water inside. But yeah, these tomatoes, Determinate Tomatoes, are going to come up. They're going to set these flowers with tomatoes, and then you pull them, and that's it. Indeterminate, just keep on going. Here's onions back here, and this bed's done really well with the onions. And the peppers are back here, too. Lots of flowers on the peppers. What I was doing earlier was picking a lot of the flowers because the plant was so little. I didn't want it to make peppers so soon on a little plant. I wanted to make the plant grow up a little bit more, but they're needing fertilizer now. They're starting to need that extra energy. Back here is the beans and the kale and snap peas. Again, they're not going to last much longer once the heat comes. Sunflowers I put right here in the middle, and they seem to like that. And then in the back row here are the cherry tomatoes, little cherry tomatoes. Now they're starting to get tall and lots of yellow flowers, as you can see, for those three guys. And this guy here, he broke. It was either a strong wind or something, and he broke. And I just stuck it right back in the ground there, and it caught. And so it's growing. So I'm going to just let it keep doing its thing. Here's the beds last year where I put the turmeric and ginger. This time I put this extra cardoon here. He can grow nicely. Of course, the onions and all that, I'm going to figure out something to put here. Just haven't got to it yet, but that's the next thing to move on. As you saw, the tomatoes are doing well here. And the cucumbers back here, I believe these are the Japanese cucumbers. I got the Armenian ones too that are going to grow nicely, but they seem to caught. I need to re-trellis this with the metal, and then I'll put those new cucumbers out. Maybe on this side too. The Egyptian walking onions, all the onions are starting to make tops, so I could propagate it out. And the cantaloupe are doing well here, and I will trellis them up the trellis as soon as they get a little bit longer. As you can see, raspberries, they finally, coming up strong. I'll need to put some wire and secure this. The strawberries, boy folks, strawberries are coming up. Last year, they were new plants. They make a lot of runners. This year, it's nothing but flowers and strawberries. So we're going to be on the lookout for strawberries and hopefully get them before somebody else eats them. All right, look at all the strawberries here. If all these turn into strawberries, look out, right? So that'll be great. That will be terrific. Blackberries, they are doing well. They are flowering, and they flower at different times. So these over here are flowering now, whereas the other ones flowered earlier, and they all have blackberries on them. The sun's starting to go down, so I try to get this without the sun hitting us. I've planted cucumbers here along this back. They seem to have caught. They seem to be doing well. Onions there going a little slower than the other side. This does get a lot of sun, so you really need heat tolerant things here. But they're a little bit smaller on this side, but that's okay. Hopefully they'll catch once we start giving them some fertilizer. This is one bitter melon. I bought two, and the one survived, the other one kind of didn't. And these are potatoes that I had extra potatoes, so I put them on this side. They seem to be doing well, as well as, again, the blackberries and the blackberries. We like blackberries, folks. As you can see, the blackberries are really big. Look at all those blackberries. And what's coming up is next year's growth. We've had so much rain here that they came up strong, and then some of them fell over. So I've made sure to trellis these so that they get, the support. If they fall over, sometimes they break, So it seems like everything's secure now. And so we'll have blackberries for this year. And then when those die out, then we got some nice strong canes for next year. So blackberries just love Texas, so do raspberries. And so you can see that they're either mud daubers or wasps, but they're starting to come in. Hopefully look for caterpillars and eat them. But yeah, they're doing their thing. And then again, what does very well, folks, is potatoes. Look at the size of these potato vines. The plants. These are just regular potatoes, not the sweet potatoes. They'll be planted here probably another month or so once these are ready to be picked, and then I'll replace them with the sweet potatoes, and then they'll grow up this vine here. If you didn't know, potatoes make a little flower. It's kind of cute, right? But yeah, I expect we have a good potato harvest here. Put a lot of nice fertilizer and mulch and everything. And then boy oh boy, folks, I thought I was going to plant something in this bed, but if you see the craziness that is the sunchokes. I tell you, folks, if you like sunchokes, that's great, plant them, but look out, wherever you plant them, you can't get rid of them. I thought I took out all the big tubers from the previous year, but no, it looks like they're growing. And they even grow through the mulch. I mean, they're indestructible, which if you know the story of sunchokes, they basically were survivor food for like the pilgrims and pioneers who, when you have nothing to eat, you eat sunchokes. Here's a vine. I'm just trying to trellis this up here. But yeah, the blackberries, everything looks to be doing really well. So I just, like I say, hope that we get to them before things start to eat them, right? And then hopefully these new tall plants are going to root in and be secure for next year. Those are the thorn ones there too. Ooh, lots of geckos. As I move around, the geckos are sunning themselves and they run away. So anyways, as you can see, the garden's doing well, and there's still lots of work to be done. Here's another trellis that I've made that I got to put up somewhere so something else can grow. But here was the future home of white strawberries. I got to get those plants. But then, yeah, there's lots of room to do stuff here. It's going to rain all this coming week, so everything's kind of got to be done and ready for the rain, and hopefully no wind or any of that crazy stuff. And that way it'll get all the nutrients and sustenance it needs, make these things grow. But yeah, so hopefully you guys are doing well in your garden, and maybe this will give you some ideas on what you could do to your garden. I watched the other videos, Callie Kim, Organics Best, Plant Abundance, the Gary Pilachek, and it's interesting how everybody kind of follows a little bit of the same activities where they put the mulch or raised bed. They kind of do some experimenting with containers or in ground or back to Eden or the bucket system. Everybody does a little bit of everything as an experiment to see what grows best. So hopefully you can do that too, whether you have a big giant garden area or a little area, or you turn your backyard into the food forest like we have. Yeah, it's a lot of fun doing the gardening. You know, it's some ways therapeutic and relaxing. I mean, you know, nobody wants to pull weeds, but kind of when you're sitting there quietly pulling weeds, you kind of free your mind, right? And just kind of relax. Some people relax with alcohol or drugs or whatever they think they got to take. But, you know, if somebody wants to come and meditate, you come out here and do gardening stuff. I think probably it's a little bit better for people. So, yeah, so, you know, go out there and hopefully some of what we're doing is giving you ideas of what you can do and some tips and things like that. For me, it's always a learning exercise. Just like you might be watching either Callie Kim or Organics Best, Plant Abundance, Gary Pilachek, the One Garden Revolution. You know, everybody out there is kind of doing the same thing. So, you know, they're testing and experimenting with mulch and raised beds and things like that. So you can too. So yeah, hopefully then you're doing good in your garden. Hopefully we will talk to you soon. Like I say, this coming week we're going to get lots of rain, so everything's just got to be ready by tomorrow, Monday, and then the rain's going to come and should hopefully feed everything here continuously. And of course, another bigger lizard is there. I tell you, these geckos or whatever these lizards are, we don't mind them. You know, they're eating bugs, caterpillars hopefully. So yeah, we'll talk to you again soon. See you later.